Hi beautiful souls, welcome back to the channel, Beautiful Awakening with Shantia. Welcome to another pick a card reading with me. So in today's pick a card reading, we're going to be looking into advice for your current circumstance or situation, whatever is urgent that source is pulling you to and helping you to focus on or work through in your life right now. If you're new to this channel is dedicated to your transformation, your alignment, as well as your healing. Welcome if you're new. Alright, so for this reading, I went ahead and meditated off of the screen, got the energies for each of the groups, and then this helped to inspire the oracle card design for each of the groups. I will be pulling tarot oracle cards and doing a crystal scrying for each of the readings to see whatever advice source has for us. If you haven't already, go ahead and check out on my channel. I just uploaded a video called The Distorted Feminine and Cultural Programming. That is a podcast episode, but it's also a PowerPoint presentation slideshow slash podcast where you get to hear some viewpoints about the distorted feminine. And I went ahead and used some pop culture figures, but just in general, I used 4 women perspectives on the feminine energy and how they feel that it is meant to be expressed. And then I go ahead and I compare that to my own notes, just what I've learned from readings, from source, and through my own experiences. Then I also have Gary Zukov thrown in the mix, who talks about and teaches spiritual partnership, and that's what he taught for decades with his partner, Linda Francis. I will also be uploading a video on Pluto in Capricorn coming up soon. This is my next passion project, so look forward to that. All right, so before we get into the meditation, I'm just going to do a little ASMR for you guys with some tea I'm drinking. So this here is a nice herbal tea I'm having in the evening. So no caffeine, or not a lot anyways. So this is from the Ardra Herbalist, and this is the tea flavor Bliss, Delightful Love Tea, with damiana, passion flower, cinnamon, peppermint, clove, cacao, rose hips, and licorice. And this is 1.5 ounces, so it makes 20 to 25 servings. So this is from a local farmer's market I went to with my friends, and I just decided to get some tea. And I think they price it around, I'm not sure if she priced it around like $15, $16 or $17. It was somewhere in that range. But I think it's really nice to support local farmers market, local people who have their own entrepreneurial businesses and who are helping to just, pass on some healthy nutrients out in the world. So here's to you. Maybe make yourself a nice cup of herbal tea while you're enjoying this reading. All right, let's go ahead and introduce the groups. So group number 1, you have the 9 of Pentacles with this young woman. For some reason, group number 1, I'm always getting redheaded woman from AI. I don't know what the deal is. For group number 1, I'm always getting redheaded women. That's gotta be something. But you have the 9 of Pentacles with a woman who is fishing. Group number 2, you have, it looks like, tarot card 12 with the hanged man, with the Johnny Tsunami surfing. Hello, surfing the waves here. And then group number 3, you actually have the 3 of Cups, and that's really weird. I did not even realize that until I just realized that you guys have 3. So group number 3, you have the 3 of Cups with the women dancing. All right, let's go ahead and start your meditation. Here is your singing bowl. right, group number 1, if you chose the Nine of Pentacles with the red-headed woman who's fishing at the lake, then we're going to go ahead and start with you. Hi, group number 1, welcome to your reading. So let me just look at your oracle card design, and I will pick up what I'm picking up from this card design here. Okay. So the advice that you're needing. Yeah, so when I was doing the meditation for this group, the first thing I saw was someone slowly moving their wings. So I saw like slow wing movement. I saw a woman who was opening up her arms while spinning around, which was kind of similar to group number 3. So maybe you want to check out that group as well. The energy, though, was very gentle and very easy and deliberate. So when you see someone going fishing, it's not a process that can be rushed. You know, the only part you're in control of when you're fishing is throwing out the line in hopes that you will catch that fish. So it looks like you're in a waiting, receptive space right now. And Nine of Pentacles also gives off that Virgo energy, which is sort of self-care, tuning in, being receptive to the abundance that Source wants to offer to you. And it also seems like you're in a learning experience right now when it comes to fishing. So fishing is a very deliberate, intentional process where you're having to be patient and waiting for that abundant fish to connect to that hook so that you can eat, that you're provided for your meal. And in this oracle card design, this woman, it's really interesting. She's focusing, AI is so funny sometimes, but she has a couple of lines attached to her fishing pole. And she had like a thing that was attached to it. Maybe it was like a worm, but it looked really weird. It didn't really look like anything. So I actually replaced it with a pentacle because I was picking up Nine of Pentacles energy for the reading. And she looks like she's touching it. So it looks like she's already caught something. She's caught some sort of abundance. But maybe she wants some more fish to gather for her meal here. And it's very interesting. She's wearing a dress and it's in the lake. It's so funny when I make these images, sometimes I don't think about it. But yeah, that is interesting. Like she doesn't care that she's getting soaked. So I imagine that when your dress is in the lake and you're moving around, it might be soothing. In fact, I took my nephew to a lake and he just, we didn't come prepared with any bathing suits and he just went into it. He loved it, and the water has such a soothing energy. This lake particularly is very soothing, and it looks like maybe there's a breeze blowing that's throwing her hair up. So I think Source is asking you to enjoy this period and this time of waiting, this germination period where some seeds are going to grow in due time. And maybe you are catching some really small fish, and you have one pentacle, but you don't have quite the 9 just yet. But you're in a place where you're building your abundance, whether this is for career or just a general understanding of being receptive to abundance coming into your life. Source is just calling for you to continuously be receptive and be patient. I feel like this is also encouragement, because they're not, when I do readings, I don't ever get this antsy energy of needing to take action. And I know that maybe might sound somewhat controversial to some people, because people often give advice about, taking action, needing to take action. And what I find is that action steps are very obvious and natural when it comes to the universe. You're not going to be all that confused about what it is you're needing to do, because Source is going to let you know very directly what it is that they're calling for you to do. So in this case, if you feel like there's not a lot of activity happening, you're in the right place, because she's sitting patiently where she's at. So wherever you're at in life right now is where you're meant to be. Whether this is a location, a place, this is where you're meant to be right now. And in due time, something is going to come of it, but you really have to be patient with the process here and take it easy. But there's something so pleasant, hedonistic about this image where it just seems like she's just enjoying the moment. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice, is perhaps you're being taught to enjoy the moment. Yeah. Okay, so let me go ahead and read your crystal and see if anything wants to come through. So it looks like you guys have some sort of, looks like a gate of some sort. Let me scry with it and see if I can pick up anything for you. Oh. Yeah, well, the first thing I saw was like a flying monkey, which is kind of funny, but it feels pleasant, and it feels like there's a lot of different energies around him that are moving with him. He looks sort of like a superhero, and he's flying in the sky, and he's heading somewhere. So maybe this is your astral body or something, you know, or your etheric body. This is an aspect to you. It's already traveling. It's en route to something. It could be you rising into higher states of consciousness, because we're getting that sky upward movement here. Yeah, but what I'm noticing is a lot of activity happening around you. And I think part of the advice is to focus, because there is a lot going on. There's always a lot going on in the world, especially with social media. You know, it's easy for us to expose ourselves to stimulation, and I have a hard time with that sometimes too, because I like quiet, but sometimes I like entertainment, or I just want to know what other people are up to, not Facebook wise, more like I want to learn things. I want to know what other people in the world are doing. So I like to stay up to date on some current events happening in society, but I'm not big on news or even getting into people's personal lives. It's more of, I'm just curious about people's mindsets and then how they got there. That's the thing I like the most, is just knowing how people think. But I'm seeing a lot of activity, but I'm seeing that this monkey flying is focusing. Could be also a chimpanzee, and I was reading about that today, interestingly enough, in Carolyn Meisk's book about archetypes. And she was referring to Jane Goodall, who did research with chimpanzees, and how we're actually very similar to them in some ways. So yeah, I don't know. There's maybe instinctual energy here. And because the monkey is flying, I think you have an instinct to fly, to rise into higher states of consciousness, to think bigger, to expand, right? Like I was talking about learning. So you have a instinct to learn. There's the monkey. I don't know if you can see it, but there it is for me there. I don't think you're all that distracted, but definitely that's the advice, is just to focus on the work that you're doing, because it's the work that needs to be done. And if you're in a place where you're doubting your efforts, don't doubt it, because you're heading in the right direction. Definitely getting that. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing another monkey. It's a floating monkey head, but it's I'm getting a little bit of despair, and I'm seeing a river of mess. So this feels like world chaos. If you're feeling, again, like put off by the chaos going on in the world, like I'm seeing like natural disaster, just a mix of chaos happening in the world, and someone's just like shocked looking at everything. So whatever disruptions or disturbances are showing up in your life, I think the advice is just to relax and stay focused and find your center here. Get centered. Try to carve out more time for quiet, because I'm seeing a lot of activity. So this might just be something you really you cannot do anything. There is maybe quite a lot energetically going on around you, around us in the world, and they're just saying stay focused, because it's the reaction, because I'm seeing someone shocked. I think that's making it worse. Okay, they're gonna have to give me more advice, because I'm seeing someone respond to something, but we're gonna pick up more of what the advice is for you here. Okay, we shall see what wants to come through for you. Oh, okay, I just got a reference to, I've been dropping my phone like a ton of times, so I honestly think my energy has been all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, I like doing these readings, because this is like a really calming activity for me. But I've been dropping my phone a lot, and I feel like that's a connection to my energetic distraction or overstimulation. So take note of that. If there's been little things that have been, like accidents that keep happening, that's a it's a bit of a reminder to get refocused and center your energy. Okay, let's see what wants to come through. Okay, Six of Swords. Yeah, see, you're in transition. Two of Swords, decision, choice, choose. Probably to get centered, meditate. Death card, yeah, that's the ending. Oh, okay. Whatever chaos maybe is personally, anything that's unpleasant, that's unfolding in your life, you can't control this. This is a death and a rebirth. This is an old part of, it's an old life, an old self that you're being asked to let go of. And it looks a bit chaotic. That's what I'm seeing. There's something devastating about it. There's something like despair, devastating hurt, disappointment. You're going to feel that. So I'm saying this lets you know, just as a reminder, it's not you. It's not like I'm not responding correctly. That's the way you're supposed to feel. So you're in a bit of a grieving process right now because you're transforming. Your life is transforming. And it's supposed to feel unpleasant. That's what I'm hearing. This isn't something where it's like, how can I make this pleasant? But this is work that you're also putting into yourself. So that's what I'm hearing right away. The first piece of advice is like, yeah, it's supposed to be messy, unpleasant, uncomfortable, disruptive, because it's an ending, a letting go, a transition. You got two transition energies coming up here. Yeah, and because I'm getting the superhero monkey, I think that's a reference, like, this is hard stuff. Because anytime I get superhero references, that means you're pushing through some dense energy. That means you feel the pressure, and it's at times overwhelming. Okay, like an upheaval. Yeah, it's very disruptive. We got Mercury, so two Mercury references here. Neptune. Okay, so now's the best time for you to learn what it takes to transcend into those higher states of consciousness. This is the time for you to learn. So that sounds that language can sound very esoteric for people. Oh, higher states of consciousness. What is that? You can watch my 7 levels of consciousness video. That can help you to get an introduction into what that means. But other than that, what this means is to expand your mindset. So, typically when we want money, you'd get a job, right? And then, let's say you're ready, you're not getting that fulfillment, you're feeling a little antsy at the job. Okay, the next thing is to get something that really fulfills you, right? So this is like the level 4 of consciousness, like entrepreneur energy, a little bit rebellious, like let's do something different. Let me follow my passion. And then level 5 is to be like really eccentric with it. Oh, you know what? I want to manifest things. So this is where you start learning how to become a receiver. You start talking to divinity. Right? And that's what Neptune is. Neptune is Neptune is that revolution, right? And it's a spiritual revolution that's happening inside of you. And right now it's happening through your thoughts. So the despair and the confusion might be coming with you're getting like these really radical progressive ideas and thoughts for where your life is being called to go. And you're being given a choice to choose it. And the thing is with the death card, that's telling me you can't really stop it from happening. It's just happening. You got the butterfly there. So your mindset is transforming. And there's a bit of disruption that comes with it because you had some concepts and ideas that you've held onto for a long time that were part of societal conditioning and programming that you were comfortable with that made you feel accepted, and now you're having to let that go, right? This woman is fishing alone. So that tells me there's some level of strong sense of self you have to develop to get to this point where you can embrace this. So a new dream is being birthed inside of you. And, you know, I've been picking this up in the collective energy. It's like, okay, we're being called to create something. What are we being called to create? It's quite abstract, and little bits and pieces are coming in at a time. Okay, let's go ahead and see what else wants to come through. We have Fair Woman. Okay. So these cards don't... these cards don't mean what they're not literal. After a while, I started to realize that these cards aren't literal. These are, you can actually read these like oracle cards or tarot symbology. So the Fair Woman is actually connected to kind of like the Queen of Cups, the Rainbow. Rainbows are just, this is about our infinite spectrum inside of us and unlimited consciousness, limitless consciousness in us. The rainbow is also in the clouds, so this is the hope and the faith that we connect to when we're going through difficulties and strife. The knot, whatever you think of a knot, this is like a challenging situation you're in and you just can't quite get out of it, or it takes a slow detangling for you to get out of it. So there's something that's unraveling. Let's say it like that. There's something that's slowly unraveling in your life. You're getting little bits and pieces here, which is the way that things are meant to be revealed. We're in a very obscure place in life right now where we kind of have an idea of what's going on, but we have no idea what it looks like yet. And we're in this ambiguous space of lots of change and shift happening at once. Yeah, so with the Fair Woman, you know, this is for a reminder for you to trust your intuition, for you to trust your inner source of guidance to help you, to also stay grounded. And you will find a way to move through whatever this is. Okay, let's go ahead and roll the astral dice. So we have Saturn, Libra. Okay, we got Libra repetitive energy coming through in the second house. Okay, connected to the Pentacles. Yep, and Saturn is also whatever you put a lot of work, determination, and energy into to build. That's also taking me to the New Earth energy video I'm going to be creating soon. Saturn in Libra. Saturn's considered exalted in Libra because this is where its energy finds a nice balance. And it's exalted in, I think, Swati. Swati is right in the middle of Libra. And it's in the second house, which is about building your resources and value. So ultimately, the second house spiritually is about building your own self-worth, right? So some of you can be in a place where you're building when it comes to your career. And yeah, that is reflected in it, you know, whether it's spiritual, whatever, you're going to see career opportunities and doors open up for you. And you're being called to, with that Saturn, put a lot of discipline, be patient. Libra is about finding balance. So that means that they're not telling you just to sort of sit, right? When you go fishing, it takes a bit of movement. It takes awareness. You don't just sit and just like, oh, okay, hopefully the fish will come here. You're like, no, you got to get a worm on that hook. You got to put it out there. You have to hold the fishing line. You got to be patient with it and check on it. And this is where you can find that healthy balance. So finding a natural, healthy, meditative balance with your actions and stillness, you're going to know what actions you need to take just based off of the circumstances that are unfolding. So this is taking me to like living situation. It could be living situation, routine, or circumstances showing up in your life where you're having to be really patient with it. You're having to be patient and trust with the resources. You know, is this going to come in? Is this going to be abundant or profitable? Where you're just going to have to sort of trust the unfolding, because this Neptune-Mercury energy is giving me very ambiguous. But the idea and the insights are coming through. You're in a learning process right now of finding out what works and what doesn't work. Okay. Let me go ahead and just pull a final card for you guys just to close out your reading. I'm also hearing discernment. Exercise your discernment about what you feel called to do. Oh, look, more swords. So we have Mercury in, sorry, I don't know why I read that as Mercury. Mars in Aquarius. So we got two Aquarius energies repeating. Okay, yeah, that's about your mind and like what's going on up there. Usually the Knight of Swords, when it shows up in my readings, it means that your mind is moving really quickly and maybe you need to be more intentional about where it goes with that Mars in Aquarius. Because they're giving us Saturn here. So it's like you might feel like you need a rush, you know, mentally rush, but don't rush. There's no need to rush the situation or into anything. In fact, rushing into things just creates more problems down the line. So we don't ever want to do that. We always want to take our time and be discerning about what feels right. So yeah, you're in an ambiguous place where you're like, okay, I'm not quite sure all of what to do. And that's because you're getting little baby steps at a time that's showing you what's the right thing to do. But I'm hearing that the opportunity will show up in front of you. Will be very obvious because with that Saturn there, you know, with Saturn being one of the bigger, slower moving planets, like you're not going to miss this. There's actually no way to confuse what to do. And in this time of ambiguity, I think some people feel quite confused at what to do. And Source is saying, we are right here with you, guiding you through everything. But overall, the bigger message is just to discipline your mind by centering it and just taking it one action step at a time, taking it one day at a time so that you're not overwhelmed. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Group number 1, like, subscribe to support. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, group number 2, welcome to your reading. So if you guys chose Johnny Tsunami surfing the waves here, shaka, then this is going to be the reading for you. Okay, so I'm going to go over your oracle card design, my notes, and then we're going to go ahead and scribe with the crystal and then pull some cards. So group number 2, you guys got the Hanged Man oracle card. I'm sorry, tarot. It's, you know, it's funny, I called it oracle cards, but I'm sorry, I messed up. I guess it's a fusion of both. I don't know. Okay. So looking at Johnny Tsunami, looking at this wave, that wave looks so epic, and it looks like the wave is working with him. He's working with the wave, you know, I don't know. There's a synchronistic love vibe, awesomeness going on right here. And I like how his head is centered perfectly right at I don't remember what they call the center of a wave. There's a crest, and then there's I don't know what that's called, but yeah, his head is sort of centered right at within the crest of the wave. So that's really nice. So what that's telling me is whatever water shift movement you're going through in your life, it's synchronistic. It's here to work with you. It's here to help you out in some way, shape, or form. And you can work with this wave here. No need to fret the wave. The wave is it's not here to hurt you. It's just here to support you and support your journey and help you enjoy the best ride of your life. But he looks really peaceful, and I'm just looking at this now. I'm like, oh, his hands look a little weird. Gotta love AI for you. But yeah, he just looks really peaceful. He looks focused. The hair is blowing through his wind. I mean, that's an epic picture for the magazine if there was one. If there was a shot like this, right? It would look so good on the magazine. And yeah, he looks so unbothered. What's also cool is we got muscles again. Here's another reference. Group number 2, you seem to always get the muscle references. But he has some really nice muscles. So it looks like he has built a really solid core within himself that's able to help him be steady. He's making riding that wave look effortless, but he has so many internal muscles that are holding him there. So this takes us to the Hangman energy, right? The original Hangman, he's hanging from a tree, but I don't know about you, hanging upside down ain't easy, okay? It's not even comfortable. So it takes focus, concentration. It takes those core muscles to keep us hanging from that tree so that we are hanging upside down from that tree so that we are comfortable. So yes, you're in a place where there's a shift happening. Yes, Source is calling for you to chill, relax, enjoy the ride. But at the same time, internally, you're going through a lot. Internally, you got these strong muscles that are building, that are holding it together, holding you through this. And you're feeling it. So this is an internal experience where you're feeling the pressure, you're feeling the weight, you're feeling the shift. And there's no denying that whatever advice that you're looking for in your life right now, this is what you're feeling. You're feeling like, dang, this is tough. Whatever this is, it's tough. Okay. When I was doing a meditation, I was actually seeing a bear claw, which is why I chose the wave. And a bear claw to me felt a bit protective. So a little mother bear energy, protective. So that's telling me that source is actually letting you know you are divinely protected, whatever journey you're going through right now. So hang on, hold on, go for the ride. There's also a shift, a rotation, a revolution, perhaps, that's happening, right? When we see a wheel, it's revolving around, a turn, a 180 or a 360 that's happening. It's a transformation, a shift, a change. And, whenever we get that hangman reference, usually, that's calling for illusions to fall away, things to fall away that are no longer serving us. It's also causing for some sort of observation, concentration, and stillness. So you are in a place of sacred discomfort. I think I'm channeling my notes there. I'm reading it and I'm like, oh yeah, sacred discomfort. Huh? I imagine it's uncomfortable hanging upside down the tree. And I'm also reading here that any action taken too soon can lead to destruction. So in this sense, he's riding the wave. Like, he can't rush the wave. So even if you try to take action, nothing's going to happen. So that's what I'm hearing. Like, if some of you are feeling compelled to take action, to move yourself out to a certain situation into something different, I'm hearing that you're already riding a wave, and this is not something that you can control. And that's a bigger lesson with that Saturn and Pisces that we are learning collectively right now. We are being put in certain situations where we cannot control it because the lesson is surrender. Saturn, Pisces, discipline through surrender. Discipline through surrender. So I don't think you can take any action that will, I think that's, I don't know why I wrote that statement. I might have read that somewhere else, but no, I don't think any action step is going to cause destruction, because I don't think there's an action step you can take, even if you tried, because you're stuck in a wave. So yeah, just ride this wave out. All right, so you guys have the tourmaline, black tourmaline. I'm going to go ahead and scry with this for you guys and just like see whatever wants to come through here. Yeah, I'm seeing someone move through the dark with a torch. So yeah, it's a bit obscure. You can't quite see all of what's going on here. And I'm getting this energy of like, I'm a little scared of the dark. I'm a little scared of obscurity. I'm a little scared of this ambiguous place. So wherever you're at in your life where it feels ambiguous and you're used to plans, you're used to certainty, this is a time of uncertainty, a major time of uncertainty. And Source is just saying that you're divinely protected through this time of uncertainty. You will get there. And yeah, there might be a lot of things that are uncertain, but the bigger lesson here is to overcome your fears with this black tourmaline. And I think black tourmaline is connected to like absorbing our negative energy. So this is a time where you're learning, because I'm seeing sort of like a devil energy show up here, where you're learning how to overcome your fears. And he looks really calm. That's sort of the energy theme that was coming through for the design for this reading. It's like this calm energy within us, and this is what exists inside of us, is a very calm, beautiful energy in spite of challenging circumstances, where we're walking through the dark and we're having to face our fears. So I'm definitely seeing that. There's some definite fears that are showing up here that are scary, but you're going to be fine. It looks like the wave is going to crash on you, but it's not. You're going to be fine. Okay. Let's pull some cards for you guys and see what else wants to come through. So we got Seven of Wands. We got the Empress. Nice. So Seven of Wands is encouraging you to stand your ground, just like this guy is standing on that surfboard. We have here the Knight of Swords, and we have the Empress. Yeah, so you're being taken care of. Maybe you're also in a space of healing with this Empress energy. I kind of get that sometimes too. Maybe you're also healing that feminine energy with the wave that is sort of a feminine reference with water. You're healing that feminine aspect to yourself, and you're healing that disconnection. So there's been a disconnection in our divine feminine energy for so long, where people have been disconnected from their intuition, their heart, their peace, and now people are having this time to realign with that energy and to learn what it is, because we forget that Mother Nature is quite fierce, just like this wave can be. Like, Mother Nature is quite fierce and quite destructive. So femininity isn't this docile, calm, peaceful energy. Femininity has many different phases and faces to it. And it says here nature. Yeah, nature can be quite chaotic, destructive, and the destruction is a purification process. So this is something we're having to remember, is that the purification or the destruction is a purification process. It's ultimately there to help you to feel more aligned with who you really are. There's some mental health here that needs to be attended to with this Knight of Swords that you're having to push through. It's like, yes, it's tough. You're having to push through. You're having to go against the grain, perhaps what you were used to, what you heard around you. Actually, Johnny Tsunami, I don't know if I grew up watching Johnny Tsunami on Disney. That's why I keep referencing it. But I remember he was fighting with his father over something. Like, he wanted to surf, and I think his father wanted him to, they moved to like the States or something. So instead of surfing in Hawaii on the island, now he was snowboarding because they were living in a colder climate. And I just remember him and his father just like butting heads because of that, and him having a hard time acclimating to the new climate. So it looks like you're in a place of having to acclimate to a new uncomfortable climate, and it's definitely putting some mental strain on you. It's making your mind move a million miles a minute. So this is where you're going to have to find some calming activities with this Empress energy that help you attune. And what I would encourage you to do is either watch nature videos online or go out and be in nature and let nature show you how to chill out. Okay, if anything can teach us how to chill, it's nature, because nature lives through all of that. Because it's we got the human minds that's so busy, and as soon as we hear something or see something, we just jump and we're like, oh no. And nature's just like, it's fine. It's all good. It's just a little storm. You'll pass through. So like, observe that. And storms, I notice, are like quite gray. They're gray, they're murky, they're dirty, and gray takes me to a sort of a blank slate, right? If you mix all of the colors, if you've ever mixed colors before, if you mix a lot of them, it makes like a muddy color, like a gray muddy color, that's just like mud and dirt. So mud is a compilation of all of these different colors put together. And that's like the blank slate or the purification process. It's like clay. It's like getting a new clean slab of clay, and then you're getting ready to make something new with it. So that's what I'm hearing as a reference. Things are getting muddy in your life, and they just want you to embrace it, let it turn to mud, because it's just you're gonna take that mud and you're gonna make something else with it, something beautiful with it. Okay. I'm learning something. I always get some interesting references in these readings. Yeah, so healing, mental health, I was feeling that with that Chiron, hurt, heal. Okay. So there's some wounded child healing that's happening. Jupiter, you're also learning and expanding through this situation. So what I'm hearing is that, like, we have that wounded child inside of us, like that trauma and all that stuff that comes up, and a lot of the murky muck is coming to the surface. You know, the storms, they just like rip the trees out of the ground. Rip them. They rip the houses apart. They rip everything up, and they just like turn it all to mud and mush. And ironically, it's like healthy for the earth. Like, it looks disastrous, but it's actually quite healthy for the earth to do its cleansing thing. So with that Chiron Jupiter, you're going through a cleansing process where a lot of that muck is coming up to heal. And ultimately, this is helping you to expand within yourself, to learn, and to get inspiration and wisdom. You're getting experiential knowledge. One card I often get a lot is, I think it's the Crone and it says like learn through your current circumstance. So what it tells you is that we actually learn more through sitting in our circumstances than trying to change it. When you try to change it, you're actually not learning the lesson. You're just learning that you, the human, are a control freak. That's all we're doing when we're trying to change it. It's like, let it change. But yeah, your mind might be going, this is a test, is your mind might be going 1,000,000 miles a minute, but don't take the action steps. That's not don't take the bigger action steps. Like, let it guide you. Let that wave take you for a ride. Okay. The wave's doing most of the work. You're the one who's holding steady. So stay centered, stay steady. Okay, let's see what else wants to come through. Lion. This one says time to act, but I don't read these cards literally. They're symbolic. So the lion is connected to courage and heart chakra. Being courageous, following your heart. Let's see what else wants to come through for you guys. Oh, okay. We got wealth, casket. Yeah, the end of something. We have the wishbone. The wish is granted, and we have here sorrow over a loss. Yes. I was kind of getting some references as I was talking about the storm to the Texas storm that just passed through not too long ago. For a lot of people, that was just shocking. They had a flash flood that just came out of nowhere. And I felt like that was very synchronistic in terms of what we're going through energetically. So yeah, definitely tune into nature, though. It can kind of show you, because we humans have programmed responses to how things work. But the ancients ancestors, they knew, they understood, they are more in tune with nature, and they understood that you just go with the flow of it instead of fighting it. Okay, so we have here sorrow over a loss, and then we have the casket, right? So it's like a death. Yes, so a death is very painful. This is not pleasant. Whatever you're going through right now, it feels like a death or the end of something. It is ending. It is ending. I just want to let you know this is confirming it is ending. And that might be painful because maybe you want to hold on to it. And the holding on to is going to cause you more pain. But they want you to be brave here with a line, because look what's coming. We have here wealth and wishbone. And ultimately the wealth is the wisdom. The true wealth is the wisdom. Jupiter is also connected to wealth because it's about that expansion. So yeah, it can bring literal wealth, but in general, it brings a wealth of knowledge. And then we have the wishbone. So the wishbone, when we create our own luck or these wishes come true, that's not something that just came true out of nowhere. This is something you have to actually work for. So a wish will be granted, which means there is a contract, a heart-fulfilling contract that you're being called to fulfill. That can be fulfilled should you put in the work of gaining the wealth of wisdom from pushing through this circumstance. And ultimately, this is a feeling, right? This is very Nine of Cups. This is a feeling of things just feeling attuned, you feeling in the right place at the right time. That's the feeling of a wish coming true. It's like you choosing yourself, right, with this Empress energy. So that's what I'm hearing with that wishbone. It's like that's about the wish of you aligning with yourself and aligning with your most authentic expression with that lion. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Any more advice you have for group number 2 here? Yes. We got 10th house, Taurus, and Pluto. Very similar energies to group number 1. Okay. So Pluto in Taurus in the 10th house. Yeah. So you're going through a shift or a change. Could be around Karma Dharma. 10th house to me is Karma Dharma. And second house is our values, our resources. And then I'm going to make that Pluto and Capricorn video soon. So that will really explain what this energy is about. But yeah, I think you're feeling the bulk of it right now, this shift. You know, I've been really seeing this energy as of lately. A lot. So you're going through a big transformation. And then we have to also acknowledge that transformations take time. They take time. They take work. They take a lot of work, time, energy, determination to put into something. And you have the opportunity to gain, Pluto's about power. So you have the opportunity to gain authentic power. This could also be status power. The problem with status power is the ego is attached to that. So just be careful, because you have a choice. There's a choice to accumulate more material things, which creates bondage, or there's a choice to choose to build authentic power, which is the strong sense of self and truth within you. So I'm just saying straight up, okay, this is the advice that I speak to, I teach, this is what I live in my own life. I gave up, like I told you guys some time ago, I quit working jobs, and it's been an interesting ride for the past 2 years, 2.5 years now. It's been quite a bit of work, but I just decided to commit to it because I wanted to see what would happen. And what I found out is that I am taken care of. It just calls for me to overcome so much fear. And there's so many days where I'm just like, dang, I want to back out of this. I have a lot of moments like that, but I don't really have it in me to compromise my integrity. So I've always been like that since I was little. I don't want to compromise my integrity. So I'm pretty much in it. It's just, the commitment is a lifetime commitment, and you just got to put in the work. So yeah, there's a beautiful opportunity you have to transform. If this is a career thing situation where you're being given the opportunity to grow in status and power when it comes to recognition, people knowing you, and status. Well, this is, you're having to go through some difficult things in order to get this. And a lot of Capricorns are great at this. Oprah's a really good example. I know in Western astrology, she is an Aquarius, but in Vedic astrology, she is a Capricorn. And she has a strong sense of self because she's had to go through that transformation. Michael Jackson had a Pluto right by his sun. So very intense transformation that just gives someone a huge amount of resilience to push through, someone who's constantly having to transform. But yeah, you're in a place where you're transforming your relationship to resources, your relationship to your self-worth and your own value with that Empress energy. It's like, what am I worth? And when you don't, sell yourself for superficial stuff, your self-worth goes up very high, especially in the eyes of the divine. It's very high. But the divine is always giving us this advice. They're always telling us to acknowledge ourselves and our truth, and they're always telling us to do that work. So it's up to us, ultimately. But the divine always sees everyone as divine. But they want you to see yourself as such, too. So yeah, this is an opportunity to build in confidence and building your self-worth, sense of self, your truth, and realigning with a strong sense of, what do I want to work for? What's my legacy here on earth? What do I want to leave behind when I die? Who do I want to be? We're at a pinnacle point of change where we get to choose very strongly, very powerfully to realign our entire life. Okay, that's going to be the end of your reading here, group number 2. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. I will see you next time. Bye. Hey, group number 3, welcome to your reading. So just really quick, I want to acknowledge that I accidentally switched to crystals on one of the groups. This was actually supposed to be the crystal for group number 2, but for some reason I grabbed the wrong one. So I think it was maybe meant to be for you guys. I'm kind of picking up similar energies for each group, so if you're interested in checking out group number 2, then please feel free to do so. Okay, so first we're going to go ahead and talk about your oracle card design. And I keep calling them oracle cards, but they're technically tarot card designs. And yeah, we're going to talk about that design, and we'll talk about my notes here. So you guys got the 3 of Cups with the women dancing, throwing their hands up like they just don't care. And the one in the golden dress kind of looks like Beyonce. I'm like, okay. And I was trying to change the colors so they all look different. They all had kind of the same color dress and hair, and I was like, but I could only do so much. Okay, so it's time to party. Group number 3, it's time to have fun. Yeah, it's time to party, time to have fun. So the energy I was picking up, I was seeing this. That's why I chose the 3 of Cups. I was picking up an energy of receptivity and walking through the forest unperturbed. Yes. I was also getting this reference to dancing in a mirror dance. So what I wrote here is how you respond really matters and makes a difference. So in this sense, what Swords was trying to say is that when you're dancing, you're not the one who's leading the dance. You are not the one leading the dance with the universe. The universe is leading the dance. You're the co-created partner who's being asked to dance with the universe. So it doesn't matter what gender you are, you're immediately put in the receptive state when it comes to the universe. So people want to understand what masculine energy is. I'm like, universe is masculine. Well, no, I don't know. I'm still, I always get so many interesting ideas, but the universe is leading the dance. The universe always leads the dance. The universe never tells you to lead the dance. They tell you to respond. So how you respond really is up to you. It matters, but it's going to make a difference in how this dance goes. So what that's telling me is whatever circumstance or situation is showing up in your life, this is the way to respond. It's to respond with a flowy, fluid dance. So when you're dancing, typically when you're dancing with someone like friends or whatever, a partner, to a song, you're looking at them and you're looking to see what they do and how they move their body so that you can kind of synchronize with them, so that you guys can create sort of movement together. So it's not just like, okay, you guys are both doing your weird thing, because now what you're doing is it looks like a little bit of a competition, or it just looks unmatched. So usually if you have a dance partner, you want to match their dance. So wherever you're at in your life right now, there's a certain dance that's already unfolding. And the universe is telling you that your task is just to respond to the dance. How would you like to respond to the signals that are coming your way, that are being sent your way? And I'm also hearing what assignment is showing up for you at your doorstep. That's the sign. So we get very confused about how to respond or be or interact, engage with the universe. We are very confused about what to do. I see it all the time. I see people trying really hard to live a spiritual life and not understanding what that means. Not understanding it doesn't look like anything. It's an experience, and it's very internal in terms of you understanding what you're doing. So this is why we have to learn how to be in communication with divine. We have to learn how to read the signals and signs. So I can't delude myself at this point. I get songs all the time. I started humming "O Come Ye Faithful." I don't know about you, but that ain't my song. Okay, like I'm not into that song like that. I started humming that song today, and I was frustrated. I was just irritated today, and I started humming that song. And so that song is essentially about maintaining your faith, right? If I were to do more research, I'm sure there's more stories to it. Maybe you need to hear that song. Maybe that's why I'm bringing it up, but it was just a reference. I knew right away what the message was. It says, be faithful. You know, the universe rewards those who trust and have faith. And, you know, I've heard people say that, oh, you know, we're in the age of Aquarius. This is about knowledge. I don't think we are. Okay, that's my personal opinion about things, just from what I'm observing, because the relationship to divinity is very important. When you don't build that trust and that faith with source, that is just magical. You know, it cannot be measured. This is not something where you're like, well, I know source exists. Like, no, I'm choosing to believe that source exists, but it's because I'm seeing the evidence of it throughout my life. And I'm seeing these synchronicities unfold, but a lot of it is faith, right? It's the unseen, unknowable. This is the divine feminine energy. And that to me, it has to very much be developed in order for this relationship to be synchronistic, for us to move through peacefully. You just have to have that trust and faith. But I don't think people know quite yet, and this is why I have my other channel, Soul Awakening, what that looks like, because they boxed it into an idea, because we are so dependent on our eyes to think that can tell us what something is. You think, oh, if someone seems like they have a successful spiritual business, well, maybe this is a person I go to. I'm telling you, the people who know their ish are very obscure. They're not posting anything on Facebook. Like, you don't know about their lives like that. They just, they teach, they come, they teach, they do that, and then they go away. Because they understand that there's so much identity attachment that comes with, looking at your image, being in love with your image. Like, a lot of what people are doing on social media is they're creating a character and a caricature of themselves that doesn't actually exist. And people are like, I'm a little confused. Like, why is because a lot of people, what we're learning is people still don't know how to be themselves. They're just being a caricature and a character of themselves. And, they're talking and preaching authenticity. And I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, we'll talk about it more on my other channel. If you ever want to watch any of my other videos, go ahead and check it out there. That's where I'd be giving it. I'm direct here too, but that's where I really deep dive. Like, I really deep dive. That's why I had to make another channel, because I was so intensely into it. Okay. So mirror dance is important. What I get all the time is the source is not looking for us to be happy. This happiness, love, happiness, we have a very distorted view of what these are, because we think it looks and it sounds a certain way. We think happy means we're smiling all the time, we're having a good time all the time. But a lot of people, what they do is they do a lot of things to feel a lot of things. They do a lot of things to feel a lot of things. So they keep their life very active, very busy, distracted, because they can't sit with themselves. And the true meaning of, you have to go really dive a little deeper within yourself. This is what I'm hearing. I guess this is the advice that wants to come through. You got to dive a little deeper within yourself to see what actual happiness is and looks like, okay? Because even in this image, it looks like, woo, we're just feeling good. But sometimes dancing with the universe is like, I don't know. Okay, we have a lot of different emotions and feelings. And this feel-good emotion, being happy all the time, is just not it. That is not real, authentic. That's not true. Nobody feels like that all the time. We feel everything. We feel a full spectrum. And people are still having debates about whether men should be expressing their emotions or not. I'm like, it don't matter. We all feel a lot. But how you respond to people is important. Just because you're mad, ranting on the internet is not going to do anything for you because we're mad. I try to process a lot of my stuff behind closed doors because it's my stuff. It's not other people's stuff. It's my stuff. It's my stuff that I have to sift through. I don't want to spread that out into the world. I want to spread out truth. And me being, all in my feels and emotions is not truth. That's just like a very skewed, maybe my mind is racing aspect to myself. And that's okay. It's okay for you to feel that way, have those thoughts, be that person, be a fluctuation of all of these different things. But you suppressing it, that's not helping you. You exploding it, that's not helping you either. So we have to find a way to flow with all of it. And that's what I'm definitely getting, what the universe is saying when it comes to dancing, is like, flow with it. Sometimes the dance is going to be weird, frustrating. You don't know what the heck is going on, but you're just like, okay, I'll try the move. Let's try it a little bit more and see what happens. So you guys got a Massagate of this sort. Let me look into it. It actually looks more like group number 2's crystal. I'm sorry about that. Group number 2 not getting their wave crystal here. Yeah, so I'm seeing something like layered bodies, right? So we have our mental, emotional, and spiritual body. We got all of these layers. This is what you're dancing with. That's what I'm hearing. This is what you're dancing with. You're actually dancing with your different layers of yourself, and you're finding a way to synchronize them. Your mental, emotional, and spiritual body, and physical body. You're finding a way to sync all of these together. But it's a bit glitchy. It's a bit, it's a bit disruptive is what I'm hearing, because we're again, the distortion in society, the distortion in the way we live our lives, the way that we think has created this. It's created a huge separation between those different bodies of ourselves. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to sync up together. And that's what that Saturn in Pisces is offering for you. Sync up we got the 3 women, mental, spiritual, emotional, or mental, yeah, I don't know. But the 3 is a nice number, right? It's a feeling of like things lining up and feeling good here. Feeling right. Let me say that. Feeling right. Yeah, I'm getting like this glitchy psyche energy, where your psyche is just like, what is this? Who is this? Who is thinking these thoughts? Who is coming out? You might be in certain situations that are triggering you and they're bringing out different, let's say these women are actually all the same women. And it's bringing different parts of your personality out. And it's just like, what the heck is this? What is this? It's you synchronizing here and creating a divine union as well with that 3 of Cups. You're creating a divine union with yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, this is reminding me of nostrils. So that means breathe, but also masculine, feminine duality is what I'm getting as well. Make sure to use both. I'm hearing use both. This is how you create a divine union, is you find a balance with your masculine and feminine energy. That's not a number. Finding balance with your masculine and feminine energy isn't like 50%, 50%. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, find a balance, authentic expression of yourself, and this is what's going to balance out your masculine and feminine here. Yeah, and I think this is why stillness is also important. It's like maybe things are like seem a little chaotic, even mentally, but the less you do is what I'm hearing, the more things can sync up a little easier. The less you try to do or try to change or control things, the more things can just sync up naturally. Yeah, I'm also getting a supportive energy or community around you with that 3 of Cups, so that can be the divine supporting you. I'm getting like a baby energy here. Like they're surrounding the baby, making sure the baby's okay, good to go. Yeah, and I'm also seeing someone backpacking on their adventure. So, that I don't think that is literal. I'm not really a traveler, to be honest. I'm a homebody person. But I feel like you're traveling your spirit for sure. Yeah, and I get that in these readings a lot. I think people don't realize like there's a lot of energetic shifts that are happening, because I pick it up a lot in the readings, and I'm like, it's a lot going on. So you might think you're crazy, but you ain't. There's a lot going on. Okay, let's go ahead and pull some cards for you, group number 3, and see what wants to come through. All right, so you guys got the King of Swords. Okay, I'm getting Teacher, Strong there. We're getting Empress. Okay. Yeah, and I actually get a King of Swords here too. He looked like a soldier, very serious. Soldier to me is more of like a King of Swords. Yeah, so this to me is the balance with a masculine and feminine energy here being created and established. So mental, mind, maybe that's more masculine. I don't know. And then emotional, physical is feminine. Maybe. So maybe the mind, if you allow your mind to be more the masculine part of yourself that guides you, you can find more alignment. So that means to be more logical in your thought versus chaotic. That's what I'm hearing. So find more logic in your thought process. Like it could be even divine logic. Find more divine logic in your thought process, where you're like, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I say this? Should I not say this? Be more analytical about how you act and behave. Or be more analytical about your situation, about what you're observing. That's what it is. Yeah, I was getting observing here too. Be more analytical about what you're observing and you're taking in versus emotionally responding to it. So just take a step back and be like, be like a scientist. Study yourself, study your life. Treat yourself as you're the alchemist in the lab, and you're studying your life, and you're trying to sift through all of the stuff to get to the truth of what's real. And that's what it is. What's real, what's not. And then the Empress energy, definitely take care of yourself. Be receptive. To me, this feels more earthy. This feels more like, let the abundance resources come to you. The universe is providing you with resources that you need, so let those resources be provided for you. Don't worry about that. Physically, you're taken care of. That's what I'm hearing. Physically, you're good. When it comes to resources, you're good, you're covered. You're being assisted and helped. But the work here that you're really being called to do is more mental and observational. Like that, we got a 3 here. Nice. We have here the Page of Swords. Sun in Gemini. Yeah, so curious. Explore concepts, ideas, mindsets. Yeah, so you're in an explorative phase where there's like new ideas, new concepts. We even got Uranus here, which is like radical ideas. So you're getting some new ideas and concepts that aren't quite solidified yet, but there's a lot kind of coming through and showing up for you to dissect and sift through and see which ones are you going to take with you and really apply to the long game of your life. Okay, let's see what else wants to come through here. Yeah, it even says scientists on here. Scientists. Yeah, and judge your situation correctly, because it could be easy to be like, I'm in a terrible situation because this sucks. And it's like, judge it, take a few looks at it until you get to the unemotional part where you're like, okay, it's fine. I'm fine. Okay, we have here House 11, Sagittarius. Optimism, exploration, and freedom. House 11. Okay, so that's the mental network, with the King of Swords and the Page of Swords. That's a mental network you're getting access to, which is interesting. They always show me that for 11th house. They always show me that 11th house is actually the divine network. Here, where your mind is aligning with humanitarian ideas and beliefs. Okay, I'm also hearing this cures the ego. So this takes the ego away from it's about me, 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 me. And this takes us into a space of what am I doing? What's my contribution to society? And how can I help society in a bigger way? And the biggest contribution you can make to society is always yourself. So it starts with how you think, because how you think is going to determine what you do, how you respond physically. So the thoughts always come first, and then how you respond comes next. So you're being upgraded with more expansive, free, radical, free-spirited ideas that are getting you, the whole point is to get you out of the ego and into more of a spirited, divine space where you're not obsessing about yourself. So I'm hearing obsessing about yourself is ego, and that keeps you unhappy. And that's part of the programming, is we think that if we obsess over our victimhood, that's gonna, if we keep focusing on our victimhood and trying to get things that we want in life so that we can feel not like a victim, then that's not actually helping us. The whole point is to get you into a higher thinking space so that you can contribute to society and feel good about what you're doing. Because the job that you're being called to do, you can do it. You're capable of doing it. It's just a matter of realizing that. So I'm hearing that you're trying to do a job. Some of you are trying to do a job that you're not meant to do. It's like you're trying to do these things that you're not meant to do. You're a humanitarian. You're meant to be a part of society and help be that contribution. But you're trying to do something else that's not in alignment. And this keeps creating a schism in your different bodies, energy bodies. Okay. So we got here April. So that's about spring, new beginnings. We have here table, hard work ahead. Yeah. So it's meant to be hard. It requires quite a bit of stability on your part. It's meant to be difficult. We have here hills, obstacles to overcome. So the advice is you're in a space of learning where you're meant to overcome certain obstacles, especially mentally. It's definitely putting you through some mental warfare, no doubt about it. You know, the King of Swords is the general. And the reason why the general becomes a general from a tarot perspective is because he had to go to war. He didn't want to. He had to go to war in his mind. Because the circumstances around him became so chaotic, he had to create a strong sense of center, peace within himself. Otherwise, he would feel continuously chaotic. So lots of different shifts are happening. There is no doubt about it. You are trying to overcome. They're giving me hills. So that means that you're being given little tasks and obstacles at a time to handle. So this is continuous. And the hills ultimately build the mountain. So that means, I think on a microscopic level, it's nice to think about the bigger picture here with the Sagittarius in House 11. But on a microscopic level, you have to take it one day at a time. You can't tackle it all at once. You got to take it one day at a time. One problem, one task at a time. So yes, you're going to be given continuous challenges that ask you to climb up that mountain into a higher state of consciousness with this House 11. But you're just going to have to take on, your job is to take on one at a time. One little bit at a time. Okay, let me go ahead and clarify the April energy for you. I got Judgment, King of Swords, Judgment, number 20. So you're going through a rebirth, could be awakening, a renewal, or you're having to forgive a certain situation or dynamic. Yeah. So you are being put through a series of obstacles. These are all meant to build you into a stronger version of yourself. And you have to take it one day at a time. But yeah, that's the Aries energy, like the rebirth that is happening. And they just want you to know a rebirth is not easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, a lot of energy, time, and effort is put into this. You can't rush the process. So we got Jupiter, Sagittarius, nice, in the 6th house. Okay. So 6th house is about being of service. Sometimes 6th house can also be about obstacles. So our service to humanity, our service to divine is learning how to overcome these obstacles through discipline. You know, with that 6th house, you have to be really routine and disciplined in order to overcome those small little mishaps in life, things that are going on in life. So Jupiter in its own sign, that's really nice. Very powerful punch for expansion and knowledge. You're learning about how to be disciplined. You're learning how to be disciplined with your learning. You're learning how to be disciplined with your expansion. You're learning how to be disciplined with connecting to the divine network. You're learning how to be disciplined with thyself. So at the core, this is about being disciplined with yourself. What are you needing to do to be disciplined here? And I think it's about what you're integrating, what you're absorbing, and what you're taking in, or how you're taking it in, and how you're processing it. You know, this is very alchemist energy. I was joking about that, but Sagittarius is the alchemist energy to me. This is about climbing Mount Everest. This is about taking lemons and making lemonade. Yeah. So take those lemons and make some lemonade with it. Jupiter is great in terms of granting and receiving wisdom. So yes, you're going through something, but the advice is you're here to receive the wisdom and the knowledge of this challenging circumstance. You're learning a lot about yourself, so much at this point in time. So don't think that your situation is far-fetched, or it doesn't make sense, or it's confusing, or it's for nothing. Nothing is ever for nothing. Everything is synchronistic and intentional. But when you sit still enough, you can see it. So I think that's definitely the advice, is sit still enough to observe, to take it in, to take in what's going on. Be a committed student every day to life, and you'll receive so much gems and wisdom, and you are becoming the gem, the diamond. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end your reading here, group number 3. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you got something out of this, and this helped to give you some more reassurance on where you're at right now. But, oh yeah, the final thing I want to say is that, yeah, there may be an expansion happening around also your social network and the people that you connect to. So I'm hearing like the people you connect to, the people who you align with, and I'm hearing you're moving up the ladder in terms of your company, the people that you surround yourself with. The company is changing to benefit, to be people who are like-minded and who think bigger and more expansive. These are going to be people who you're attracted to, who you're drawn to, who you're interested in. They're going to be interested in you as well. And you guys are all going through a learning process together, but do make sure to exercise discernment and acknowledge that whatever obstacles are showing up, it does require you, even that 6th house, right? Obstacles, discipline, to put in that work every day. This is not meant to be easy stuff at all. I wish I could just tell you, it's just going to be great and dandy. And I've learned in my own life that that's just not the case. So part of the illusions, one of the hardest illusions to shatter is that life is easy. Only people who are deluded think that life is easy. Life is not easy. No, life is hard, but if we align with the right work with that 6th house, if we put in the right work and commitment and service, then it will be rewarding in and of itself. Like, it will help us to align. Yeah. So I think some of you really, even I was getting that teacher energy. Some of you might want to be teachers, teach something, and this is what you're learning right now. You're going through something difficult so that you can give back to society in some way and help other people to overcome challenging circumstances, just whatever challenges life has to offer them. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like, subscribe to support. I will see you next time. Bye.